As we have learned in our example here, that we can use this map where when we reach all this line, we can call this tuple with line and line dot length. So just let's use it only for tuple 2 containing the word itself and the word length as a second element of this tuple. This is very much similar to like Java map. Okay, so let's create this. So I will use my RDD dot map. Okay. And here I will use a lambda that once we have this line, I create a new tuple 2. Okay, so here it gives me this tuple 2. So this tuple 2 is created here. We'll go into the actual implementation very soon. But let's create this, complete this tuple 2 creation first. So in this tuple 2, the first element would be line and another would be line dot length. And if I do Control Alt V, so it will create a new tuple 2 Java RDD. I think this is the perfect name. Let me make the next line. Okay, so it's visible. Okay, so as we see that once we do this map for each of the line that we created, so for each of the words that we have, which is a Java RDD string, will create a new tuple which having two elements. One is the word itself and the other is the line dot length. And as we can see that now it is creating, after this method is returning, it is giving me an object of Java RDD. And this Java RDD is having each element as a tuple 2 with string and integer as a length. Okay, so this is how we create a tuple here. So this is actually a tuple inside this for each of the Java RDD element here. So let's go about this tuple 2. We can see that it's a Scala import. And if I just click on tuple 2, as we can see that in the left pane that we have got from tuple 1 to tuple 22. So right now in Scala, the version that we are using, that is having 22. It is possible to create a tuple of 1 element, 2 elements, 3 elements, up to 22 elements. And all of these elements can be of their own type. It's not necessary to be of the same string type or whatever. It can be of any element type. Let's go back. Now, as we have got this tuple back, now let's try to assert something. So we expect that the count of RDD elements should be same as this tuple 2 Java RDD element, because it's doing for each of the words or each of the line which is present in RDD, we are mapping it. So we expect that the count should be same for both of them. That's why let's assert it. So I will do assert equals, and assert equals, I will call my RDD dot count should be same as. Now this is another method that we are we know that we also have a similar count method here for this tuple. So we can use this count here. Let's import this. Okay, assert equals is imported. So we expect that this should be working. And so once we assert that this is equal, we can also print some elements that how this tuple looks. So as we discussed in the previous chapter, for printing, instead of printing all the elements, we will suggest that the best practice is to use take method, which will only take the few elements from top of this tuple that we have created and print each of them. So I will use the take method here instead of using collect. So collect, as we discussed last time, it will take this collect. We will not use this because it will get all the elements in the driver node. And if the RDD or the tuple is very, very huge, it can result in crash of the driver node. So it's ideally we should always use this take method, where we can just take the say 5 elements, and then for each I will print it. So for each, here it is called on Java as a Java for each method, not the Scala one, and I will just print it system.out. And I will just use method reference here, println. Okay, because we are iterating it 2 times, better to separate both of them by using this type of line here. Okay. There's a small typo here. It's the words list. Okay, so let's revise what we have done so far. So we created our first RDD by using the method source parameterized test, where we are passing two file paths, which is 1000 words.txt, and another one is a ZZ file, which is present in our resources folder. So we are using this method source parameterized test and passing this test file path as an argument or as a parameter here. And we create our RDD by reading these files by calling this text file method from Java Spark context. And then the most important part of this test case is that how we created the tuple, the Java RDD tuple. So for this, once we created our RDD, we call this map method. So map method is doing is that it is mapping the string, which is the Java RDD string, as a line here. We are representing as line, which is a Java RDD string, and we are mapping it to a new tuple2 object. This tuple2 object is present in Scala. As we discussed that we can have 1 to 22. So here we're creating only two, tuple2, in which the first element is the word itself, which is the string, and the other is the length of that string, which is an integer. And that's why once we map it back, we get a Java RDD, which having each element as a tuple2 object, having the element string and integer, which is the line, word itself, and the length of that. So this is how we create this Java RDD from this from a Java RDD with having the tuple elements from the Java RDD of string. And then we expect that because it's just a mapping operation, it would be mapping for each and every word. So that's why we expect that the count should be same for both of these tuples that I created and the Java RDD string that was created before. And now once we have this assertion done, we expect that we can call a lot of methods as we call for a normal RDD. So for printing the first 5 elements of this tuple to Java RDD, I use take method, as we had discussed in the previous chapter. It will just take the first 5 elements, and for each of the 5 elements, we'll print it. So we expect that all those like 5 tuples, all like for the 5 words, it should be printed. For example, say for 1000 words, if I go back to the top, so we expect that all these 5 tuples would be created. I mean, the tuple should be having this actual word in the first as a first item, and the second item as the length of it. So it should be like in brackets. It should be this element first, comma, and the length should be 3. Similarly, it should be this and then comma 3, and so on. For A it should be A first and then 1. So this is how the tuples would be created and printed as we expect from this unit test case. So let's run this, that whether our assumption is correct and this test is doing exactly same as what we just discussed. So I'll run this. It's running now. So as we can see that it's first running for 1000 words or txt, and now it is running for word list. So both of runs are done. Let's see that our expectation is correct or not. Okay, so the total lines in file as we expect is 1009, and now we see that the 5 tuples for each of the file is created. So we can see that the first is the line itself, or a tuple. Tuple. I'm calling it tuple because it's inside these brackets. That's why it represents the tuple. And the second part is the length of this word, which is 3. This is same here. Similarly, for that the big ZZ file that we have, we can see that the first. If I just go to the top again, so it's ABABDE or something. So it should be exactly same. So we have got this first element as AB, and the length of this is 7. Similarly, the first 5 tuple elements of the words are created here, with first as a word itself and the second as the count of this. Now there are several methods we can use, but this is how we actually create a tuple RDD by using the map method from an existing RDD. And there are a lot of access methods that we can use on this tuple. And the best part is that this tuple is immutable. If we can only have the element access methods here, we cannot manipulate once it is created. So guys, this concludes our chapter 9, Spark RDD tuples. And in the next chapter, chapter 10, we will cover pair RDDs, which is again a very good concept to learn about Spark RDD. So see you all in the next chapter.